division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori.
Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Now, where we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorites. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We cross the topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beaters through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Cause you listen to the Man Now.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckheister here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. We got the Beastie merch. Beastie, check out my merch right there, man. It says Beastie and used naked in a silhouette with an angel outfit. It's sexy. My wife called it the most sexually offensive piece of clothing that we have. So I definitely had to rep it on the show tonight. So guys, we do got a great show for you lined up. The boys are back in town. We are trying to figure out this new work schedule, how happening. We're going to talk to Ukraine and Russia. I mean, we got to bring a little bit of political stuff into this soccer world that we live in. Baseball is still locked out, and the Chicago team is still not number one. Speaking of Chicago, let me welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself to the show, Brandon Beastie Combs. What's going on, Beastie?
What is going on, Michael Buckheister, man? It's good to see you. What's going on, Belly Up Sports Network? What is going on, Tiki TV? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Man, I am pumped to be back, but I am aggravated. I think we should boycott putting our stuff on Facebook.
So, Combs, you were cutting out like every other word there. So basically what we heard is you got boycotted or you got Facebook jail because you like to say Trump and guns in the same sentence. As that would happen or what?
Oh, can you hear me now? Is it better now?
A little bit, yeah.
I don't know what's going on tonight. I got all sorts of issues going on. My computer's updating. All sorts of freaking issues. But I'm on Facebook the other night, and I am scrolling through, and I see this video. And this video is of a guy recording a cop who is trying to detain him. And meanwhile, he is berating him, calling him all sorts of names, so all sorts of things that I can't say on TV or on radio. And so I comment in there, the guy behind the camera, which is the guy who's berating the guy, needs to get knocked on his ass. That's all I said. I got banned for 7 days from Facebook.
Because you said ass
or what? Not the guy who posted the video who is berating a police officer who is doing his job, and he's just being an ass clown. He's allowed to post that video, but if I say he needs to get knocked on his ass, I'm banned. So, yeah. You know what? I'm done with Facebook. I'm done with Facebook. The only thing I'm posting from now on Facebook is Man Hour stuff and Three Guys, Sports Collectibles. I'm going to still keep doing my thing with them, but other than that, I'm done with Facebook. It's so stupid.
Speaking of that, tell me a little bit about that, because I was walking into work when you said something about Three Sports Collectibles. What was that, Wednesday show or Thursday show?
Yeah,
what's that all about?
If you like to collect autographed sports memorabilia, as you can see that I do. Actually, for those of you that watch the show regularly, my Justin Fields helmet is missing. I actually traded it in for a military salute to military Justin Fields autographed jersey that is in a custom frame. It is pretty badass. I'll have to show you guys when we get it. But if you like to collect autographed sports memorabilia, check out Three Guys Sports Collectibles on Facebook. Yours truly is on that group as well. I actually run the baseball breaks in that room. They have prime gear in their breaks, great prices. If you're looking to sell, buy, trade, this is the place for you. Become a member today. Tell them Man Hour sent you. Three Guys Sports Collectibles on Facebook. I actually just won a Donald Driver helmet.
What? The Donald Driver?
Yep.
Like the
Donald Driver, Green Bay Packers.
Oh, not the two wood.
You know, no. Wide receiver, caught a lot of passes from Brett Favre and a few from Aaron Rodgers, and yeah.
Yeah, and I think he caught a touchdown pass from Matt Flynn as well. I'm just throwing it out
You know
there.
what I'm gonna do when I get it though, right, Buck?
Sell it?
When I get that helmet, I'm gonna turn it upside down and I'm gonna use it as a nacho bowl in the summertime.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
We see some people popping in the chat. What's up, Michelle?
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Long time no see, Michelle. The big day's coming in fast, isn't it, Combs? What, June, isn't it?
So we still have not set an exact date.
Oh.
We've been waiting for all the stuff going on with her dad,
Right.
and getting all that stuff situated. But we're going to be working on it here soon. We were actually talking about it this weekend. We want to get a date and figure everything out.
Just go to the Justice of the Peace and have a kick-ass party. That's what I wish I would have done.
I'd be okay with that, but Michelle wants and she deserves to have a wedding where her father is walking her down the aisle. So that's what we're aiming for, and that's what we're gonna do. She deserves that, so we're gonna give it to her. So
yeah. So Alpha Rob says you should know if you say anything good about the police, you get banned from YouTube. Deleted 2 of his accounts already for not saying a man is a man. So
yeah.
Man,
I haven't got banned from YouTube yet, but
we have.
It's so bad, Alpha Rob.
We got banned last year, Combs, for like a week.
Oh yeah, I remember we got banned for airing a football game too.
No, it was for that Kyle Rittenhouse shooting.
Yeah.
Which now he's suing LeBron James.
It's so bad because they want to. They can put what they want on there. Like I see all sorts of videos, right? Like you go to Facebook, you go to TikTok, you go to all these different platforms, and they've got all these videos of people showing stuff. And when you disagree or you say something, all I said was the guy needs to get knocked on his ass, and he does. He needs to get knocked on his ass. And they all of a sudden, well, you're done for 7 days. Well, what about the asshole that put this on Facebook? What about the video? How long is he banned for? Because his video is still playing. That's why I was able to comment on it.
Well, let me tell you 3 things, Combs. This society that we live in is run by viral status, which is views, likes, clicks, shares, right? How long you're staying on their platform and how left-wing you can actually be. So since you were right down the middle and you said what you thought, you were automatically banned because, for one, you were trying to deter their live video, like their likes on their video. You're not sharing it. So they're like, man, we don't need Beastie on this platform. Go over to Twitter. Follow BC on Twitter at @man_Combs.
I want the guy who reported it. I want the owner of the video to come to my house. Hit me up in my PMs, hit me up in the DMs. I'll send you my address.
Hey, Combs.
Because you need to be knocked on your ass, and I'll do it myself.
Hey, I'm right here. I'm the one that reported the video. Just to get your goat, man. Because I haven't been on with you for a damn near a month, and I feel naked.
I know, man.
It's been so long. It's been so long.
Dude, it's been crazy. The work schedule has been nuts.
Yeah.
Your work schedule has been nuts. My work schedule has been nuts. All sorts of things. Well, Aubrey's got volleyball, so I might be a couple minutes late to the show tomorrow night too. But it's it's winding down. Summer's coming. We don't have freaking baseball yet. But
my little man's starting t-ball. Ugh.
Oh man.
We went out and hit some balls today.
Those are fun as long as you do. I'm telling you, Buck, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. Don't volunteer to coach.
So I already told I'm not going to coach, and
Okay.
I told my wife that I'm
idea.
coming half 10 shades to the wind to every game because if you guys know anything about my son, it would not surprise me if he drops his pants on first base and poops on the bag. I'm just going to put it out there. If it happens, it happens.
It's going to be an entertaining time, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
I've coached at a lot of levels. I'm actually going to be helping coach my nephew's in-house team this season. But I can't do the t-ball through like 9-year-old stage. I'm not coaching anywhere in there. After 10 and up, I'll coach any level you want me to.
My
The
favorite-
t-ball, the 9 years old, nope.
My favorite level to coach is 11 to 12-year-olds. For whatever reason,
Yeah.
it's like I feel like that's when they soak up the most information, and you
Right.
can see them literally progress each week,
Yeah.
and it's
And
really
that's
rewarding.
that's the most rewarding part about being a coach, especially of
Yep.
youth sports, is watching the players grow from the beginning of the season to the end of the season.
Exactly. So speaking of growing, nothing has grown in the baseball world. In Major League Baseball, we are still locked out. We are still apparently so rumors came out that we were really close to a agreement, and it turns out we were still where we were 6 months ago, right? So with that being said, Combs, exactly how far do you think we actually are from a deal ending this lockout in Major League?
Look, at the beginning of this week, I was optimistic they could get something done by the end of the week. I was optimistic that I knew we were going to miss the first weekend of baseball, which was supposed to be this weekend, and it didn't happen. It was already heartbreaking and sad enough for myself as it is, but I don't think we get a deal done now. I don't think that they're so far off on the most important aspects. And look, Buck, I don't know if you watched the show from the other day. I know that you tried to be in the comments when you could, but I know you're going back and forth between work. They're about $100,000 off on what they want to pay the players who get paid the league minimum. So 23%, and I did the math on all of this. I went out and looked at it. 23% are paid the league minimum of players. 40 players on a 40-man roster, 30 teams across the league. That's 1,200 players. So we are talking about 276 players that get paid the league minimum. At $100,000, that's $27.6 million. In a league that generates $10.7 billion, we're not playing games because of $27.6 million. And I haven't been able to argue with people on Facebook, but I've been seeing people post on Facebook about how this is on the players and it's not on the owners. The owners are trying to make concessions. The owners are not making concessions. The owners are standing pat in the fact that they shouldn't be paying the players more than what they're paying them. Look, I get the business end of things. I really do. And at the end of the day, people want to talk about these are millionaires and they're arguing about, pennies on the dollar. But this is an employer who is arguing with employees about getting a raise. And in this aspect, this part of things, what the players are asking for, I agree with the players here. They need to make more money at a younger age because baseball has the hardest road to actually get to the professional level, right? Where I guess not professional level, but the big leagues. When you're in the minor leagues, you're not making a ton of money. And when you come to the big leagues, by that time after college, even if you don't go to college, by the time you get up there, you're 22, 23 years old. If you go to college, by the time you get up there, you're 26, 27. Now they've got control of you for the next 7 years at a league minimum salary. 7 years. You can go to arbitration. Maybe you win, maybe you don't. But a league minimum for 7 years. And by the time you get to free agency, you are already 30 to 32 years old. It's a joke. And the players deserve to be paid more when they are in their prime. Do they want to reset everything and make it so that, they're not giving the Mike Trouts of the world $500 million in a contract? I'd be okay with that, whatever the case is. $10.7 billion this league is the revenue that the league generates. $4 billion of that is paid in player salary. All they're asking for is another $27 million.
Okay, well,
what are we arguing about?
Well, we're arguing about a lot of money at the end of the day. Let's just be flat honest about it. I mean, whether you want to admit it or like or not, $27 million is a lot of money. Yes, I know versus billions versus millions, it's like 10 cents versus like a dollar, right? Like I get that. But if we're so far off here, why don't we just take out AAA? If you simply take out AAA ball, that will save yourself $27 million a year because, like, how many players are on a are on a AAA team? Probably 18,
25.
25, plus your coaches, travel, all that stuff. You cut that out, right there's your $27 million per team that you're probably saving each year. But guess what? The players were like, oh, no, you can't do that. You cannot take our way up to the league. So then compromise. You guys signed this player agreement, you know, what, 5-6 years ago. It was okay. It was okay then, but it's not okay now. Why is it not okay now? Just because, you see, the NBA players are making $250 million a season, or like whatever they're making. Like, if this is such a bad deal, why did you guys sign it previously? That is my biggest thing here, Combs. But if you want to make up of that $27 million, cut out AAA ball or cut out AA ball, cut out single A ball, cut out one of those levels, and bada bing, bada boom, there's your $27. Issue solved.
But see, I don't think that you cut out the level. So when you look at it from a business point, so right now where they're at with the CBA, you have to go back in time, right? And you have to look at the previous collective bargaining agreements, because that's what your next projected one is based off of, is your previous agreements. In the previous agreements, look, the players have lost a lot of money in the previous collective bargaining agreements. And what they're doing is they're trying to make some of that money back. They're trying to regain ground, reestablish their pay. And I don't see any issue with that. Again, look, what you're talking about is pennies on the dollar. You're talking about on our level, right? Where we're paid at a much less salary. Let's say we make a 6-figure salary. Say you make $100,000 a year, which I don't, but let's say you do. If you $100,000 a year and your employer comes to you and you go to him and you say, hey, look, I've been showing you that I can do the job. I've been bringing in a ton of money into the company. I've been doing everything I can to make sure that we are successful. And now you want to go out and you want to raise. And I say, hey, look, all I want is an extra $10,000 a year. So now I want $110,000, right? Which basically boils down to maybe $1 raise. Maybe. I think I'd have to do the math, but maybe $1 raise. And they come back at you, and even though you brought $5 million into the company last year, they're like, we can give you a nickel. That's what baseball owners are doing right now. And you feel like that's a slap in the face, right? You ask for $1, they're offering you a nickel. How far apart are you guys? Are you happy with the nickel? Probably not.
A raise is a raise.
Is it more than what you were making? Sure. But it's not the same. The players are who we go to see. The players are who the fans want to see on the field. The players generate, I'll say, 95% of the revenue in the game. You could talk about the part that the owners do by, the money that they put into it. There would be no baseball without owners.
That's what I wanted to come at you with. Yep.
But I'm not going there to go see Tom Ricketts when I go to Wrigley Field. I could care less whether or not Tom Ricketts are there. But you know who I do want to see? I want to see David Ross. I want to see the Chris Bryants of the world, the Javier Baez's, the Mike
Would those
Trouts
players
when
be
they're
there,
in
though,
town.
if the
That's
general
who I'm
manager
going
was
to
there, if the
see.
owner wasn't there? Absolutely not.
No, of course he wouldn't be there. But you know what? They're still the best players in the world. So to a point, yes, I do think that they would be there even if that owner or that GM wasn't there, because that owner or that GM, there'd be a different owner or a different GM. Who are we calling?
Joey's calling in the loan. My man Joey. What's up, Joey?
What's up?
How you doing, big guy?
It's going good.
So you want to talk about the baseball lockout? I am totally on the owner side. Combs is totally on the player side. What side are you on?
Boo. I don't know. I just think it's BS. Got these games for no reason. They're being petty. You know they get paid like millions of dollars. And how much was it they make in a year?
So the league minimum is $750,000 a year.
And how much are they shooting out? Like 4?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Are they shooting out for 25 million?
What's 25 million?
My bad. Can you hear me?
I'm so confused with what you're asking.
No. Whatever. Somebody said something about 25 million about keeping it running.
Oh, so
No,
yeah, go ahead.
$27 million is what there is, how far apart they are on the money, the negotiations. The owners don't want to give
What?
out an extra $27 million to the players.
Hello?
Yes, so Joey, basically they are trying to up the league minimum to like $1 million a player versus 750,000. What it comes down to.
Well, I think I agree with you. We should really get rid of like single A and double A because no one really goes to any of that. I don't know. I don't really care about those teams. If you go to like a double A team or a single A team, they're not bringing any revenue in. So just cut them out, and you make more money that you're asking about.
Then who develops your
But
players?
that's
in the
all I
minor
got
leagues
to say.
then?
Thank y'all for having me.
Can you hear Combs? Joey?
Hear me?
I think we're have a bad connection or something. But Combs, who develops your players? You like say good coaching staff. You hire a hitting coach like Mark McGuire is a hitting coach for somebody, right? Barry Bonds is a hitting coach for somebody.
What are you going to do? You're going to up your roster to 50 or 60 players instead of the 25 that are on your team now?
How many players play? You have 9 players on the field, right? Well, yeah, you have 9 players on the field.
25-man. There's 25-man or 26-man roster now because they did up it by 1 over the COVID thing. But so 26 men on a roster for a game. Okay, so what do you do? My question is, what are you doing with those other players in your system? If you're cutting out a branch of baseball, if you're cutting out a single A ball, double A ball, triple A ball, which I completely disagree with Joey because people do go to those games. It's actually more family friendly to go to those games. I'd rather take my kids to one of those games than a major league game.
Triple A ball, yes. Single A, no. Single A, like high school games are better than single A games.
You're crazy. I've gone to plenty of single A games. I actually had season tickets to a double A team in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Because that's all you could afford back then. Let's just be honest. We were poor back in the day.
It's all I could afford now.
Right.
But it's those players are coming up. I mean, without those players, like you look at players, let's take, because that's the team that I know the most. Let's take the Cubs this year, right? Okay. They trade Chris Bryant, they trade Anthony Rizzo, they trade Javier Baez, right? So up from the system comes a Frank Schwindel and a Rudy Ortega, okay? And you bring up Ortega and Schwindel, and all of a sudden, these guys who have been spending most of their career in Double A and Triple A are now absolutely demolishing the ball.
I see what you're saying.
Absolutely demolishing. They're getting their opportunity, but without that, without Double A, without Triple A, where are these guys at? Where are they developing? You have to have a farm system. You can't just take away a single A, a double. I get what you're saying.
Whoa. Pause here. Pause. So let's look at the NFL. The NFL has college, then it has the NFL. It does not have, I mean, you can call the XFL a fundamental league all you want, or all these USFL and like all that crap, but they're not associated with the NFL. They also
have a practice squad.
Right, a practice squad of 12 players.
Roster.
Okay, so what is the difference? So if you take your 11 guys,
it's a big difference.
That is not a big difference, but just because if you have 9 guys,
the NFL plays 1 day a week. Major League Baseball plays pretty much every single day, for the better half of 6 months.
Okay, so you were saying that you can
completely different game.
It is a completely different game, but the aspect of growing in a sport is the same way. Why does a baseball player need 6 extra years to become a professional when in NFL from college to the NFL there's nothing in between, Combs?
Because baseball is a much more difficult sport to excel at.
Okay.
Than
so excel early and make your money early, or just go get a real job. How about that?
It's Buck. I get what you're saying. It's not that simple though, and I highly disagree with getting rid of one level of baseball to save some money. I mean, they've already done that. Hell, I think there was like 27 minor league teams that got dropped because of COVID over the last 2 years.
Right.
And I disagreed with that as well. But you have to be able to develop your players to come up through the system. Baseball is not a sport. You look at a guy like David Bodie, right? And I'm a big David Bodie guy. David Bodie comes up to the Cubs in 2018 or 2019, and just starts raking. And then he has that big grand slam against the Washington Nationals. And now he's getting a chance to play every single day with the Cubs since that trade that they made last at the trade deadline. And this was a guy who spent the better half of 7 to 8 years in the minor league system because of the players on the team that they had in front of them. So David Bodie's a second baseman or a shortstop or a third baseman. The Cubs had Addison Russell, Javier Baez, and Chris Bryant. You're not going to get playing time over those guys. So that's why you have the system. So that way, if one of those guys goes down, gets hurt, you can call David Bodie up. But in the meantime, if he's sitting on the bench, he's not getting reps. He's not getting his swings. It's a completely different ball game than the NFL.
Okay, so no, it's not, because if you want to do that, why should rookie NFL quarterbacks sit the bench the first year to get mental reps? So you're telling me that you're not getting
use that?
So you're telling me that you cannot get mental reps on the bench in the major leagues? You cannot see how the pitcher is coming?
A mental rep is not going to help you identify the rotation on a pitch.
Okay.
It's not going to help you identify
are absolutely
the
right.
between curveball, slider. It's not going to do that for you. You need live pitching. You need to be in games.
So what you're saying is
you can't come off the bench and just hit it and come out and hit at an elite level. You can't do it.
But we expect backup quarterbacks to do that. Interesting, huh? We expect
they're throwing a football.
We expect hockey players to come off the bench and instantly be able to score a goal, right? We instantly expect soccer players to come off the bench. How is it completely different? We are expecting these professional athletes to be ready.
Let me ask you a question. What in hockey equivalates to trying to determine between whether or not it's a 90-mile-an-hour fastball coming, or let's say 100-mile-an-hour fastball nowadays, 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming, or an 86-mile-an-hour changeup, or a 76-mile-an-hour curveball? What in soccer or what in football changes like that?
Okay.
Nothing.
You could
nothing harder than trying to hit a baseball.
I agree with that.
In any sport, anywhere.
You are 100% correct on that. But every pitcher gives away subtle movements. Oh, his leg doesn't go quite as high on a slider.
Every pitcher does that.
Everybody has.
And when they get caught, they change it.
Yeah, but every pitcher has that.
It's not. So, not every pitcher has that, Buck.
Watch it.
Come on now. If every pitcher had that, we wouldn't have dominant pitchers.
You're
if
right.
Every pitcher was tipping their pitches, we wouldn't have dominant pitchers.
I'm not saying to do it every time, but there are times when they tip their pitches 100%. 100%. Come on, baby. You know that.
I disagree.
So, Combs, with this deal not being done by, I believe, March 21st, February 21st was like the date they said we need to have a deal locked in before we start missing regular season games. We are now here on February 28th here. How short of a season do you think we're going to have?
I think 150 is probably about the number. I'm hopeful.
So miss a week?
Look, here's how it's going to go. Weeks. We are going to have an agreement within the next week to 2 weeks, or we are going to have a really long wait for baseball. And I'm talking about maybe a half a season. Or maybe even a 1994 situation again where they just cancel. If this thing gets so ugly that we don't have a deal within a week to 2 weeks, I hate it, man. I hate it. I hate the idea of not having baseball. I hate the idea of not being able to go out to Wrigley this summer. I hate the idea of not being able to watch games on opening day and do the things that I enjoy doing for opening day festivities. I hate it. It drives me insane. But the business side of things tells you that if this thing gets ugly, it could be a long time.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, I believe the players said they need at least 2 weeks to prepare for preseason only. So it sounds like they're still going to have the 6 weeks of preseason, right, and then the regular season. So spring training games were supposed to start March 3rd, I think it was, or March 5th was like the first scheduled spring training game. So for just by mathematically purposes only here, let's say they get a deal done by Tuesday afternoon. They need 2 weeks, so we're looking at March 3rd, March 4th before that will even happen, before spring training will start. A week of spring training, and then games. So we're probably looking around late April, early May, anyways. But with that being said, this is right where baseball should be anyway, starting in May. I mean, I don't want to start in April. Or March. I'm still hyped about March Madness, baby. Like, I don't care about spring training and all that crap. Yes, Combs, I know you are, but you are an elite level baseball expert, and I am like the normal Joe fan. And yes, I will turn on my Kansas City Royals each day, but I'm not really ingrained into baseball until about June. So baseball should take this cue anyways, take this lockout, shorten the season to about 100 games, and we are in a win-win world. So you guys want your 27 million? How about this? We don't give you the 27 million. We cut the games back to 100, so you are basically making more money for your work anyways. Win-win situation there.
Well, I think what's going to happen, and look, I hate the idea of less baseball. I don't think we'll ever get to a point where the owners are like, you know what, yeah, less games, less money, great. We'll take it, because yes, the players are going to make less money, but the owners are going to make less money as well. So I don't think that that'll ever become a thing, but I think what's going to happen here is I think the players are going to come back down towards the owner's number after they start missing paychecks. We're talking about guys like Max Scherzer, who's going to be missing $323,000 a day with this lockout. Once these games start, which we're supposed to start on Saturday, $323,000 a day. It's insane. And he's not the only one. You got other players out there that are missing. I believe it was Jacob deGrom, maybe. Somebody else out there is going to be missing like $200-something thousand a day. And look, I mean, 5 days into that, it's $1 million every 5 days. So
wrap your head around that. 1 week of work is $1 million. Sheesh, must be nice.
And pitchers only pitch once every 5 days anyway,
right?
So really, 1 day of work.
Wow, that's just stupid money to me. So Alpha Rob says Combs does look like an old school baseball analyst. Yeah, I mean, the only thing you're missing is like a big old cigar
MLB
or
Network,
something,
right, Alpha Rob?
Yeah.
Let's start that petition, Alpha Rob. Let's get Beastie on MLB Network.
Yeah.
So that way he can get Rob Manfred out of the commissioner seat.
How will you be on Major League Baseball Network get him out of the commissioner seat? Get out of here with that.
Because I'm telling you right now, I would dog him every single day.
You know
He is
what?
a clown.
Haters make you famous, and we sat here with Soup Boss last week, and he said he is boycotting the regular season baseball games. Will the fans boycotting or, quote, voicing their opinions affect this lockout, Combs?
It's not going. Look, baseball doesn't care about its fans, and that's been evident for years. It's. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about baseball. They don't know how to market. They don't really care about their fans. They don't care about a whole lot of things. So I'm not so sure that a boycott really would. I do know that it would affect the owners. I mean, if you're not able to fill your stadium, that affects the owner's bottom line. They still have bills to pay, and that's why, like, don't get me wrong. I don't think the players should be making all the money. These are still owners, but a good owner out of a business takes home about 35% of their earnings over the course of a year. That's a good owner, 35%. Owners right now are taking over 60%. And that's where I have the problem. So I'm not just against the owners, because I do believe they need to make their money. They need to pay their bills. They've still got things to do. They've got things to pay. But I think that the owners need to give a little bit more than what they have been giving. And this 27 million, I just can't believe the number is so low. And that's why we still don't have baseball. It drives me absolutely insane.
So, Combs, I mean, you said something about, like the owners will be upset if the fans are not at the games. Let's just be flat out honest. All of your bills are paid before the fans and before the concession stands. Yes, that's a very lucrative business at the end of the day. Yes, it is nice to get that $12 a beer when I'm paying like 60 cents for it. That is flat out awesome, right? But the real money is made through TV deals and through making your team to the postseason, like, etc. That is where the real money is made. So when fans like Soup Boss is boycotting these games and not watching them on TV, that is where it will really hurt the owners in the end. They could care less about the people in the stands because they buy their $8 ticket and they maybe buy like a $4 hot dog. But that viewer that I'm getting on TV, that is bringing me $100 or $200 just because the more rankings I get, the more ad space I can sell, the more advertisements I can put on the outer wall and like all that stuff. That's where all the real money is. So for you say that the fans going to the stands will hurt the owners, no, losing TV money is going to hurt the owners in the end. So by us not watching the games, it will not hurt like at the start because opening day, everybody's going to be tuning in, right? Anyways, now what's going to hurt is if we don't tune into the postseason, tune into the hunt for October. That's when it's going to really start to hurt the bottom line.
Yeah, and I mean, look, again, like you mentioned the beers. I mean, I did this math a long time ago too, and you're looking at a keg of beer is about, I don't know, maybe about $150 for the good beer, right?
Where are you buying that?
About $150 for a keg.
$40 for old fashioned, baby.
We used to get the $75 for a keg of Rolling Rock.
There you go.
But $150 for a keg of beer, but a keg of beer puts out 165 12-ounce beers.
Yeah.
At $12 a pop, you're making your money back.
A little bit. just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Right.
And so they make their money. They pay their bills by their bills are the vendors, the food, the drinks, but they pay their bills with their bills. That's essentially how they do it. Realistically, the only bills that a Major League Baseball owner really has is the cost to repair the stadium and the cost of electric. Everything else pays for itself.
Which for Cubs fans, do you guys even have electric up there? You guys have lights in the stadium yet?
Since 1989.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. All right, guys, we are up against that break here. We went a little longer than expected, but hey, this is live, raw, uncut sports talk with the Man Hour. So, guys, on the other side of the Man Hour, we are going to talk some Russian versus Ukraine, not the war. We're going to talk about soccer. Soccer on the Man Hour, Combs? What are you doing with my life right now? But hey, we're going to talk a little bit of soccer. We got some NBA coming up. And then, coming up on hour number 2, we've got the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL going into the 2022 NFL season. All that and much more, guys, right here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 explosive, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my fucking mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase that? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn right through the sea. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Probably not. And well, welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Beastie Band from Facebook, Combs. You guys, this is live, raw, uncut sports talk. We've talked a little bit about the Major League Baseball lockout, but now we're going to talk a little bit about soccer. This is something that I'm not very familiar with at all. Be upfront and honest with you guys. I don't even know what FIFA stands for, or the FIBA or whatever that is. I don't know. Or the World Cup. I mean, I know what the World Cup is, but as you guys do not know, if you've been living under a rock, Russia has invaded Ukraine in the actual world, not fantasy land like this FIFA Cup is, but in real life, Russia has invaded Ukraine in actual war. And so there are many sanctions being imposed onto Russia here, and a lot of them are basically no longer having soccer matches, or hockey players and basketball players are disassociating themselves with their Russian heritage. Is it called heritage that you like hey, I'm from Ukraine, I'm a Ukrainian heritage. Yeah, okay. So with this dispute happening, there were 4 teams that said we do not want to play Russia in the World Cup. Russia was in the semi-finals in the World Cup, and they were scheduled to play Poland, I believe it was, Holmes. And with that being said, what does this mean for the World Cup? Does this affect it, or what? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, so look, first of all, FIFA stands for the Federation of International Football Association, just so you know.
Cool.
And I don't know what it's going to mean for the World Cup. Now, they were scheduled to meet in the semifinals against Poland, and they were going to meet the winner of the, I believe, Czech Republic versus Sweden matchup. Was going to play whoever wins the Russia game. And all 3 teams have said they will not play Russia under any circumstance. And I don't know what is going to come of this, because so I'm kind of torn on this, right? Like, I feel, look, I've got my beliefs as far as, what Putin's doing and what's going on over there in the Ukraine. I believe the guy is a war criminal for sure. And it's sad that the Ukrainian people are being forced from their homes and having to flee and try to run and all this stuff. It's very sad seeing the pictures of them sleeping in abandoned subways with their children. Like, it's sad. You don't want to see it. But I don't believe that should affect what these athletes have accomplished. And just like I don't believe that anything that the idiot we have in office, President President Joe Biden in office should affect anything that the U.S. is trying to do, when it comes to playing in the World Cup or trying to, play in the Olympics or anything like that. I don't think that what these athletes have done, because these athletes have sacrificed a lot to get to the point to where they're at. And because of the decision of the president of their country, which has no bearing on them, I guarantee you he didn't call the Russian soccer team and be like, hey guys, you guys cool if we go to war with Ukraine? I'm pretty sure that phone call never happened. And so I don't think that this needs to be a thing. I think that the Czech Republic, Sweden, and Poland while I do believe that they are, in their right, they do have the right to their opinion, but this is the opinion of what they're I don't know. This is just not something that should be. I have a hard time making it a thing where the athletes should be punished for this, and I'm not a fan of doing it that way. I'm just not.
Yeah. So when I first heard about this, I kind of assumed that they were playing in the country that they're like, hey, we don't want to play, right? But they were actually supposed to play somewhere in Europe that I'm reading here, if I'm not mistaken. So the Russians were supposed to play the Polish team for the finals, and they said, no, we're not going to play them. Basically what it came down to. So now I agree with you that obviously the athletes have no bearing of what their president is doing, right? But at the end of the day, we are in a very politically driven world. Look at the Olympics, for example. The United States was prepared to not go to the Winter Olympics because of the COVID restrictions there, right? And many athletes couldn't perform their duties because of this fake virus that we have out out there. They literally prepare themselves for what?
We just got kicked off YouTube.
Did we really?
No, but you just called it a fake virus, so we're about to.
You said Joe Biden. That's strike one, strike two. Hey, by the way, guy, you should be punched in the throat. There's strike three. Let's make it the trifecta, Combs. But with that being said, I mean, obviously the president of Russia, the United States, the prime minister of Great Britain, or all that stuff. If they choose to go to war or choose to boycott or choose to do this, at the end of the day, they're a communist country, Combs. They really don't have the right to say or do what they do, right? There was that tennis player that wrote on the camera that said, "No more war, please," or something like that. I saw reports that he is not welcomed back into the country because he did that. Because he wrote on a camera that said no more war. He can no longer go back home. How crazy is that? They were protesting in the streets, and they're getting arrested and thrown in jail. I saw a woman that had a baby, probably 6 months, and they're throwing her in the back of a police car. It is absolutely crazy. So for countries like Poland, Czech Republic, and who's the other one? Germany, maybe. I don't remember who the other one was. That says, hey, we don't want to play them. I get it. I understand. But shouldn't Russia be named the championship then because since nobody else wanted to play them? I mean, let's just be honest about it. Hey, Russia's here ready to play, but they're like, hey, we don't want to play you guys. I mean, I saw an image where there were two soccer teams lined up next to each other. I believe it was the Polish team versus the Russia's team, and they weren't going to play. They're just saying, "Hey, we're here, hi," and they didn't play. So clearly, they were ready to play. They were trying to make a political stance through sports, and that's where they cross a line. We need to separate political stuff and sports stuff, and just let the sports be the sports because sports is a healing mechanism in this world. Think about this. Was it in 2021, right? 2019 when did COVID start and sports came back? 2020, June or whatever, right? That's when we were like, hey, world's back together because of sports, right? Come on.
Yeah. And look, you're watching this whole thing unfold, right? And you're watching the former world champion boxers, the Klitschko brothers, are now in uniform fighting for Ukraine. And you're watching things go on in the world, and you're just like, man, politics has been a part of sports for as far back as you can remember.
No,
And
ever since LeBron James joined the NBA, that's when political stuff. Come on, let's just be honest about that.
What was the Olympics? What was the Olympics where I can't remember the name of the
the black guys that held their shoes up?
Was it Jesse Owens?
Yeah.
Who with the fist? That was a political movement as well. Like,
right.
There's always been politics as a part of sports. It's always been a thing. The difference now is social media. Right? Like, we have social media now. We have people who feel like they are, they feel like they have the right more to voice their opinion because of social media. I call them keyboard warriors. That's it's basically what it boils down to. And when you start, getting people out there, like, and it's funny too, because I used to have the craziest hots for this celebrity, but Alyssa Milano is one of the most outspoken of all of them, right? And she's like, oh, well, we need to go and we need to fight for Ukraine. But 6 months ago, she also had a post where there should be no war and we should, disband militaries and this. But now we're good enough to go fight. It's just people. Social media has really taken it to a different level, right? And what sports can do for all of us is it can bring us together, right? Nothing brings us together like sports. Why 9/11 happened, right? And I went to New York as part of the cleanup. And one of the things that they said while we were there for the cleanup, they said, here, you know what? The Mets are coming back tonight. We're going to give you guys the tickets to this game for free to show our appreciation. And what we were a part of, like, to me, one of the greatest sports moments of all time, right? Which was the, Mike Piazza hitting the home run late in the game. That stadium, how loud it was, the chants of USA, it didn't matter whether you were Republican, Democrat, black, white, Asian, you could have been from Mars for all that anybody cared at that point. All that we cared was that we were together and we were living together and in that moment. And that's what sports does for us. That's why I love sports so damn much, is because it doesn't matter who the person sitting next to you is. It doesn't matter what their affiliations are. What matters is that at that point, in that moment, you guys are cheering on the same team. You guys are getting lost for the 2 to 3 hours that sport is going on for, and nothing else matters other than what's going on at that time. Now, sure, after the game's over, you go back to your lives. You have to, come back down to reality. But for those, it's an escape. It's an escape from reality. That's why I love playing so much. That's why I play softball and hockey and all that. Because for those 2 hours, I don't have bills. I don't have 2 failed marriages. I don't have kids that live 900 miles away from me. I've got myself and I've got the field and I've got the game. And it takes me away from all of the negativity and all of the things that are wrong with life. And it puts me into something else where nothing else matters. And that's what sports does for us.
Yeah, so you are exactly right. I mean, that's why I enjoyed doing the man hour with you, because I get to come out here and, hey, the dishes are still not done on the inside, but hey, for 2 hours a night, they are done, right? But
Stacy gonna mess you up.
Cindy, who's Stacy's mom?
Sorry,
yeah, she doesn't know about Stacy. Come on, man.
Isn't Cindy Stacy's mom?
Yeah,
because I heard Cindy's got it going on. That's what I was going at with that.
Sure. So let me ask you this question. Just because everything that you just said, it is your escape for 2 hours, right? It is your escape from this, and this. For 2 hours, you cancel out the world. Maybe the Russian soccer team needed to be able to cancel out the world for 3 hours. Maybe the Russian soccer fans needed to cancel out, hey, we hate our president right now, but we can't voice it because we're going to go to jail. Did the Polish, Czech Republic, and who is the other team? I can't even remember.
Poland, Czech Republic, and
Sweden. Did they take that away from the Russian fans, from this Russian soccer team, their escape for 3 hours? I mean, isn't that like an ultimate smack in the face?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not for taking this team out of the tournament because this is not on the athletes. This is not on the fans. It's not on the people of Russia. This is on their president who wants to take over one of the largest distributions of half of the world's supplies, and he wants to be in control of all that. Now, I mean, hell, while all of his troops are in Ukraine, I say we just bomb the shit out of Russia because there ain't nobody to protect it, and we kill Putin himself, and then we take back over. Like that's just, I mean, come on, common sense, right?
USA's defense is not offensive. We all know that.
Right. Well, we've got a clown in office, so it's never going to happen. Spineless. But anyway,
no,
I don't think that this needs to affect the game. I don't think it needs to affect the athletes because you're right. It does take that away from them. It takes the way. Now they've got nothing to look forward to. Now there is nothing for the fans of the Russian team, for the people of Russia, for the Russian soccer team to look forward to take their mind off of what is going on in their own country for the next, however many weeks and months for the World Cup.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think the Russians are ever going to have a black eye for this in every sporting event, etc. Because the FIFA is sanctioning them. Like, I don't know what the sanctions are, but basically said they can't play in their tournaments anymore. I mean, people aren't going to Russia to watch hockey games, or hell, they are pouring out their vodka even. So, I mean, this is going to be a big stain on them for a very, very long time. But Combs, we're getting close to hour number 2, so let's go ahead and jump into the comments here that we have been failing to address here. And he says, Alpha Rob says the USA QB is not a real QB. I think he means president, right? Is that think that's what he means?
No, we're gonna go quarterback here. Okay. We're gonna go quarterback. We don't want to get demonetized. The USA quarterback is not a real quarterback.
Yeah,
not my quarterback.
We only promote Canadian quarterbacks around here.
I got in an argument with, and I'm surprised that didn't ban me before the other comment. It was because some clown was like, because somebody said something bad about how bad of a job Biden's been doing, which he has, right. And he's like, your guy Trump. I'm like, wait a minute. Just because I think Biden's doing a bad job doesn't mean I supported Trump. Well, it's possible that I think both clowns are doing a bad job. Just because I wanted to fire Matt Nagy doesn't mean I wanted to go back to Mark Trestman.
Speaking of Matt Nagy, welcome back to Kansas City, Matt. Welcome.
Yeah, have fun with him.
Yeah, Super Bowl, here we come, baby.
Quarterbacks coach. What the hell is he going to do with quarterback?
Who knows? Anyways, Alpha Rob says it is crazy how people are different from 9/11 to now, and how some people feel about the American flag. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, it's social media again. Yeah. I mean, back during the time of 9/11, we had some social media because you had a page.
MySpace, right?
That was MySpace. Yeah, you had a page that played music, but nobody got into things like this. I mean, the way it is now, I mean, it is absolutely insane.
Everybody has a platform, and they don't have to properly use it at the end of the day. Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah. I mean, if social media went away, the world would be a better place.
I bet you we wouldn't have as many transgenders.
Oh, stop it!
Hey, what do you call a lesbian going to a barbecue?
Do not support that theory.
What do you call a
joke? Tell it to me on break.
Okay. LGBTQ.
Right.
Oh, and then Alpha Rob says you had a thing for her, Combs. Me too. I mean, you little horn dogs. Sheesh.
Dude, she was.
I don't know who she is. I have to Google.
Dude, when she was in Charmed. Oh my God.
Who is it again?
She was Alyssa Milano.
Alyssa Milano.
Who's the boss? Charmed.
I don't know.
She was.
I'm so bad with actors' real names. Alpha Rob says, Combs, how long are you based off of Facebook? 7 days.
7 days. Yeah.
Wait, you're down to 5 now? 4?
No, 6. It just happened yesterday.
Oh, my man, Rule of Jungle is in the chat. He says, "What's up, dudes?" I wonder if he says douches. But he says, "Wow, Buck is on. Did hell freeze over?" No, it's called work, man. Like I know you guys don't know what work is, but my man, I work hard, very hard. Alpha Rob says, have you seen the Embrace of the Vampires, Combs?
Embrace of the Vampire? No.
Yeah.
What's Embrace of the Vampire?
I feel like we're getting into some big nerd talk here, and
I mean,
she has
we're
a girl on
talking
girl
about Alyssa
scheme.
Milano, so... What?
She has a girl on girl scene.
Alyssa Milano does?
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. Michelle,
man.
you're in the chat. We're going to watch Embrace of the Vampire tonight after the show, Michelle.
As Combs falls asleep right at the show is over because he's old as balls. But guys, coming up here on the Man Hour, we got some NBA talk happening. Bulls over Memphis Grizzlies. Who else we got? 76ers versus the Knicks. Brooklyn beats Milwaukee. Where is Torrey at for that one? And of course, you got the top 10 NFL quarterback list going into the 2022 NFL season. All of that, much more, guys, coming up here on the Man Hour. Sit back, relax, enjoy. We'll be right back.
What's going on, Belly Up Sports fans? Thanks for tuning in to the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. We have some really exciting news for several Belly Up Podcast Network shows. The Sports Stove Podcast, the Rough Cut Sportscast, and Here in Puckburg have all been nominated for a Sports Podcast Award. So, head on over to sportspodcastawards.com and make sure to vote for the Sports Stove Podcast for Best College Sports Podcast and Best News and Current Affairs Podcast. Vote for the Rough Cut Sportscast for Best American Football Podcast, and vote for Here in Puckburg for Best Winter Sports Podcast. Again, that website is sportspodcastawards.com. Thanks for being the best part of Belly Up Sports. We are what they are.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase a bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. I'll give up everything.
Sick of the venom in my brain, running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this, I just wanna break these chains. Always asking for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many once that I so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started the outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted, created a legacy off of me just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.
I'll give up everything, daunting if I can see my dream. Cause I'll do anything, want a reality. I'll give up everything, daunting if I can see my dream. Cause I'll do anything, want a reality. Don't let go. I'll make things up. Cause I'll do anything, make want a reality.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes with my man Beastie Combs tonight. Hell has definitely frozen over. The boys are back in town. We've talked soccer, and now we're going to talk some NBA basketball. What? What the what? And we even talked baseball tonight. We talked everything except for hockey. By the way, hockey is still cold. I'm just throwing it out there because, ice is always cold. But, I don't know. I got nothing, Combs. What's up, Combsy?
Hockey's awesome.
Welcome
Not much,
back.
man. How you doing, man? It's been a crazy night. Michelle's over in the chat. Alpha Rob's trying to get her to let me watch Vampire or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Embrace the Vampire. Michelle says we're not watching it. Alpha Rob asked her to let me live a little. Alpha Rob, if you keep going, she's not going to let me live at all.
Yeah.
So you just, she said, never said he couldn't watch it. I'll pass. Well,
okay.
What if we watched it together and just did whatever they were doing on the screen? No, I'm just joking.
So
We'll
meanings
stop
Combs has no manual area. Huh. So much for that boom boom room, Combs. That was a flashback to 1997 here on the Man Hour.
Oh, God.
All right, guys. So we are on hour number 2. Welcome back to number 2. If you guys have missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on bellyup.tv every Monday through Friday at 8 to 10 a.m. East Coast time, and then again at 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. East Coast time. So two different shows are aired on 2 different times there. So guys, be sure to check over at bellyup.tv. Or if you want some podcast form, iHeartRadio, Spotify, of course, iTunes, and over at youtube.com/Man Hour, we do got the clips that we do upload each and every day over there. I've been slacking last week. Actually, the last 2 weeks, guys, I've been slacking. Been working like 18-hour days and overnights. It's been sucky, so I'll get back into it. We got the blog section happening back over at manhourradio.com. Check out that section as well. But Combs, it is time to talk about your Chicago Bulls here. You have officially jumped on the Chicago Bulls bandwagon here, but they did fall short tonight versus the Memphis Grizzlies. But DeMar DeRozan continues his 30-point-per-game streak. 11 games in a row, he has gotten 30-plus points in a game. Is he the MVP in the NBA this season?
He's got to be up there, right? I mean, you look at guys like Joel Embiid, who is having a phenomenal season. I'm watching DeMar DeRozan every single night, and plus I'm a Bulls fan, so I'm going to be a little bit biased here. But, I mean, I'm watching this guy do things in the fourth quarter when it counts. And the things that he's doing is phenomenal. And once this team gets healthy, they're going to be a real tough out in the Eastern Conference. I don't know if they'll be the 1, the 2, the 3, or even the 4. I mean, the East is all jumbled up. But he's got to be in the MVP conversation. He's got to be at the top of the list, if you ask me. The things that he's doing, he's on his 10th consecutive 30-point game, one shy of Michael Jordan's record of 11. The guy is doing things in the NBA that we don't see guys do very often. I mean, we're talking about elite level, Michael Jordan level type stuff. And I don't understand how he wouldn't be in the conversation.
Yeah, Combs being like, I hear everything that Thad is saying, and I see everything that you are saying, but there are players that have been doing it all season long. Joel Embiid comes to mind. Steph Curry comes to mind. How about the Greek Freak? He is literally still putting Milwaukee on his back and carrying his team each and every night. And then, of course, we have the Djokovic from the Denver Nuggets as well. So when I think of like MVPs, like I think realistically here, and I say, what have you done for me all season long? Are you performing at a top level all season long? And DeMar DeRozan, since the first of the year, has performed great. He has been elite level there. Clearly top 5 in the MVP voting here. But Jokic, the Greek Freak, Stephen Curry, and Joel Embiid, they are definitely been doing it better and all season long. And their teams are, not as good as the Bulls are. Like, the Bulls have this stacked team. I mean, which is crazy to think that the Chicago Bulls, like, they're fighting for the last seed for the last, 5 or 6 years. They've been horrible, right? And then all of a sudden they make a few trades, bada bing, bada boom. They have a stacked team. They are fighting for the number 1 seed in the East. Do I think he is an MVP candidate? Yes. Do I think he is the MVP? No, I'm going to give it to Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid, with the addition of James Harden onto that team, is going to open him up a lot more, and he's going to show you how great he actually is.
I get the Joel Embiid argument. I really do. But again, for me, it's just a look at what this guy is doing. And when you talk about a guy putting a team on his back, I mean, this is after the Bulls lose Lonzo Ball. This is after Zach LaVine goes down. This is after they lose Patrick Williams and Kobe White goes down. He is single-handedly keeping this team in, a team that probably by all rights, and then nobody would have even falling from number 1 to number 8 easily with all of those injuries to starting players, to key role players. And DeMar DeRozan is keeping these guys at the top. They're a game out of the number 1 seed right now, trailing the Miami Heat by a game. They played a game yesterday in which they played the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies were up by 16 entering that fourth quarter, and they needed a last-second shot to beat the Bulls. And DeMar DeRozan was hitting shot after shot after shot. What he did the night before that, going up against, I can't remember who they were playing and watching the game, and what does he do? The Bulls are down by 2, and what does he do? He goes up, he hits a shot, takes the foul, and the Bulls win the game by 1. That is the stuff that MVPs are made of, and that is exactly what he's doing this season. To me, DeMar DeRozan's number 1.
So you're saying he's performing in the fourth quarter? That's what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is he's also performing in the fourth quarter, but he's also been carrying a team that has lost a majority of their starting 5. And he is taking that team, and he has got them at the top of their conference. You put names out there like Jokic from the Nuggets. They're 6th in the West. You put out names like the Greek Freak. They are 6th in the East. Those teams are not doing the same thing. Joel Embiid is I think 3 or 4 games underneath what the Bulls are right now. Those guys are doing this sort of the same thing that DeMar DeRozan is doing, but DeRozan is doing it at a higher level. DeMar DeRozan is elevating the Bulls to a top seed in the Eastern Conference, something that none of those other guys are doing right now. So to me, DeRozan's number 1.
Yeah, those are all very, very good points here. But speaking of the Chicago Bulls and the top seed, they did lose last night to the Memphis Grizzlies. And here on Monday night, they are playing. Who are they playing Monday night? They are playing the Miami Heat for the top spot in the East. With all those injuries that you just listed for the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat, they are a team that they are who they are. They are going to stay hot, and they'll be hot for the rest of the season. Is this a must-win game for the Chicago Bulls against the Miami Heat?
So I want to say there's 20 or 21 games left in the season. They're 1 game out. If they lose to the Heat, they're going to be 2 games behind the Heat. I don't think it's a must-win game, but I think it's a huge morale boost if you go out and you get this win in Miami. If DeRozan goes out and puts up another 30-point performance in this game, then he's clearly the number 1 seed. If DeRozan and the Bulls walk into Miami, LaVine's back now, Williams is getting healthy, Lonzo Ball is said to be back by mid to end of March. They start getting these guys back, and they are still in the 1 through 3 seed in the East, and only 2, 3, maybe even 4 games out. They've got a chance to win the Eastern Conference. And so I don't think it's a must-win game. But as Javier puts the stink on him, Javier says Miami Heat are going to the finals. He's got 5 stacks on it. That all but guarantees the Miami Heat are going to lose in the first round.
Exactly.
They're going to lose to the Bulls tomorrow night.
So actually, that's exactly what I was going to bring up here. If we look at the playoff picture right now, if it were to start right now, Miami Heat would be number 1 playing the Brooklyn Nets. So the Brooklyn Nets will be on the road. So guess what? Kyrie Irving can play. We'll be getting at that into later in the show here. But I wouldn't call it a must-win for the Bulls, just because looking at the past games, and I have not been watching the Bulls as depth as you have been, but I think the Bulls will match up better versus a Toronto Raptors team or even a team like maybe the Milwaukee Bucks, because I think they can go toe-to-toe with both those teams and like basically dominate them in the first round. If I am the Bulls, I do not want to play the Brooklyn Nets in the first round. Let Miami handle them. Let Miami go to 7 games with them, and so Javier can bet his five stacks on them. So is this a must win? Absolutely not, because exactly what you said. There's still 20 games left in the season, and I think they would fare better as a 2, 3, or maybe even a 4 seed going into the playoffs, not a number 1 seed.
Yeah, I agree. Look, the Brooklyn Nets are a dangerous team. I don't know a team out there that really wants any piece of the Brooklyn Nets, especially once KD comes back healthy. And they're going to get Kyrie. He's going to be, I think they said somewhere he's going to be playing like 10 of the last 12 games at home. And now he's going to be at home games just in time for the playoffs. This is a team that if they're clicking on all cylinders and if Kyrie doesn't get into his own head, they are going to be a really tough out. And they might be the best team in the Eastern Conference as the 8th seed. Yes. How scary is that?
So really every game that we want to see is the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets playoff series. That's what we want to see. We want to see Harden versus KD. We want to see Harden versus his old team. Let's just be flat out honest. So speaking of James Harden, his old team and his new team, he did play his first game with his Philadelphia 76ers and a win over the New York Nets, and he records his first triple-double as the 76ers. How dangerous is Philly right now sitting in the number 3 seed, Combs?
They're dangerous. Harden can score if Embiid can get Harden to understand that this is his team, that everything is going to facilitate through him and not through Harden, then they will be okay. I don't think that they're better than the Bulls. I don't think they're better than Miami. I don't think that they're better than the Bucks, and I definitely don't think that they're better than the Brooklyn Nets. I don't like a team where James Harden is running your point. I don't like a team where James Harden is a guy that is going to be your go-to. But if Embiid can get him to buy into the fact that he's not the guy there, it's still Embiid's team as well as it should be. No team should ever be Harden's team because it's a bad idea. The 76ers will be all right, but I don't see Harden playing nice with others.
See, James Harden was pretty damn good in Houston because he shot all those shots, right? It was basically an isolate offense with like James Harden, like in there. He would step back, shoot with the 3, stick his leg out, and like get the foul. That is what they've been that's what he's been so good at. But since then, the NBA has kind of transitioned a little bit here to where you can't kick out your foot, where it's like an offensive foul now. But with that being said, you know who the Philadelphia Sixers remind me of, Combs? They remind me of the Green Bay Packers. They have all this talent on this team, and they choke every time. They can never get to the big game. They can never win a series. Because hell, the 76ers easily had the most dangerous team in the East the last 2, maybe 3 seasons, hands down. What'd they do? First round exit, second round exit. Congratulations. This year is going to be the same thing. They are good on paper. They should be great. They should be able to beat the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors and whoever else comes at them. But they are going to lose. They are not dangerous in the East as all. I want to play them in the first round of the playoffs, whether I'm the Raptors or the Boston Celtics, or hell, the Knicks even have an outside chance of making it into the playoffs. Like, they're not a good team. Like Javier says, coaching wins, and their coaching sucks.
Look, James Harden, he was great when he came up when he was with Oklahoma City, but he wasn't a team player, so he left Oklahoma City and went to Houston.
Well, he was the sixth man, so he never really had an opportunity to.
No, he. What do you mean? It was the big 3. It was Harden, KD, and Westbrook. They were the big 3 in OKC, and then
Harden came off the bench.
No, Harden was a starter.
Harden came off the bench in
went
OKC. Look it up.
Okay.
He won like 3 or 4 six-mans of the year in Oklahoma.
So he leaves Oklahoma City to go to Houston to become the man. And what happens? It implodes. Then he goes over to Brooklyn to be a part of the new Big Three. And what happens? He implodes. Now he's going to go to Philly, be with the Sixers, with Embiid, and he's going to implode. The Sixers, to me, I don't think they're a threat at all in the East.
So speaking of threats in the East, the Brooklyn Nets do hang on to beat the Milwaukee Bucks earlier today. And with the COVID restrictions lifting here, kind of surprising that there's a war and then COVID starts going away. Crazy. But Kyrie Irving is able to play 10 of the final 12 home games in Brooklyn. Is Brooklyn now the favorite in the East, Combs?
Is your favorite act in the circus the tightrope?
Yeah.
Watching people walk that fine line?
Yeah.
Okay. I figured as
you got to put a little jab in there like every time. Like, hey, every time there's a war, something under the surface happens. Guess what? Russia invades Ukraine. 22 hours later, the CDC loosens the mask guidelines. No longer need a mask inside if your county's not in yellow. I'm just saying. Sorry, my bad.
I agree. Look, Kyrie Irving coming back and being able to play in home games, and that's huge for the Brooklyn Nets. And again, we just said this. I'm gonna reiterate it. I don't think there's a team in the Eastern Conference that really wants to see them. Period. Whether it's a first round, second round, third round, NBA Finals, you don't want to see a healthy Brooklyn Nets team coming at you, because it's a dangerous team. Any team with Kevin Durant being able to be healthy and shoot the ball, and then have Kyrie Irving running the point, maybe one of the best point guards in the league right now. As crazy as he is, but they did come out flat right after the All-Star break, like the Earth, and so they did come out flat, but they picked it up yesterday against the Bucks, and they got that win, and they're going to be a dangerous out.
Yeah. So the key word that I want to pull out from what you said there is healthy. Right now,
flat?
No, not that. But Kyrie does think that, which is weird. But with that being said, is healthy is the key word there. Kevin Durant is currently out there. Ben Simmons is currently not playing with the Nets as well. So once Kevin Durant is back from his sand in his vag falling out, and then Ben sorry, so you were walking that fine line. I might as well just go all in, right? And then like Simmons trying to figure out himself whether he wants to be a basketball player or not. The Nets are going to be a very, very dangerous team. Not only do they have like a good roster now, like a very, very complete raw roster, they're deep as well. People that Wake, we keep throwing out the names of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons. Let's not forget that they got LaMarcus Aldridge on on this show, a very, very good post player. Andre Drummond might be the most underrated center in all of NBA. Seth Curry, not Stephen Curry, Seth Curry, his brother, just as good, if maybe not as better, but he's
I don't know about just as good either.
He is a more of a well-rounded player. So and then we forget about, they still have Blake Griffin on the on that team. Yes, big old ginger man himself, the whitest black man that he is on that team still, and he can still fly. Colin, we're towing that line. We're going all in tonight, baby. Have you ever seen a black man with red freckles? Let's just be honest. Blake Griffin happens.
All the time.
Come on, where?
Oh God.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, I did hear that Kevin Durant's injury is legit. His mom even wrote a note to the coach.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
So before we get into some NFL talk, Combs, and go to break, let me go ahead and jump to some of these comments here. Javier says Tyler Hero will be the 6th man of the year. Mr. Buckus himself. Dude, Buckus is good, man. Have you heard that song by Jack Harlow, Tyler
Dude,
Hero?
Javier loves Tyler Hero.
Dude, Tyler Hero was the man in Kentucky. Like, I loved him.
He is
the whitest black man you know.
God. He is good. But he's not like, I don't know. I like Tyler Hero, but I don't think that Tyler Hero is a hero. I think that he's just an average player at best that comes off the bench.
So 6-man player of the year. Got it. Javier also
average,
says
at best.
Javier also says Brooklyn always gets injured. They do. They are very injury prone for whatever reason. I don't know why. They have the 49ers syndrome, right? They're great for such a period of time. Then, and then bada bing, 25 starters are gone. Just like that. Wow. Crazy. And then Alpha Rob says Harden is going to do what he does, and he plays isolation basketball. Absolutely right. Harden, I feel like, is a man, if he doesn't have that beard, like if he were to shave his beard, he would probably be a pretty good team basketball player. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. So let's get to Alpha Rob's other comment. The one about Tim Duncan.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Alpha Rob asked if we heard what Richard Jefferson said about Tim Duncan. Yeah. And I had not heard this, but apparently Richard Jefferson said that Tim Duncan was carried his entire career.
So is Tom Brady. Still doesn't mean he's a bad player.
This guy, Tim Duncan, who was 15 times All-NBA, 3 times a Finals MVP, 2-time league MVP, Rookie of the Year, won an All-Star MVP, was on the All-Rookie team, 15 times on the All-Defensive team, carried his entire career, says Richard frickin' Jefferson, who, you want to hear his accolades?
Didn't he steal somebody's wife or something?
he won the 2001-2002 All-Rookie. He was on the All-Rookie team, and he won an NBA championship in 2016 as a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers, in which he was a bench player.
So
that's the list of his entire accolades, by the way.
So let me throw out some validity here. So when Tim Duncan did come from Wake Forest to the San Antonio Spurs, they had the Twin Towers there, right? I believe it was David Robinson was the other center there. So they definitely had that 1-2 punch. Yes, he did win the Rookie of the Year, I do believe, right? You said that, right? Yeah, he won the Rookie of the Year.
He did win Rookie of the Year. He also won 2 MVPs, league MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs.
So I could definitely say that he was probably carried to that Rookie the Rookie of the Year because David Robinson was a force to be reckoned with on that team, and I don't remember who the point guard was then, but either way, David Robinson alone can carry a lot of guys. Hell, wasn't Dennis Rodman on that team with Tim Duncan too earlier in his career?
Who was Tim Duncan carried by? Manu Ginobili?
As coach.
What for a guy like Richard Jefferson, who the hell is Richard Jefferson to question anybody who's on the top all NBA 75 of all time? Who the hell is Richard Jefferson to say, he was carried his entire career?
Maybe he meant to say that he carried the Spurs his whole 19 years.
Maybe what he meant to say was, I like Tim Duncan. I was carried my entire career. Maybe that's what Richard Jefferson meant to say. Because Richard Jefferson was the one who was carried his entire career.
Didn't Richard Jefferson play with Tim Duncan in one of those championships? For some reason, I remember seeing him on a Spurs team.
He did play on the Spurs in 2009, 2010, and maybe 2011. Then he got traded or something like that,
or cut. I mean, whatever. Yeah. Traded, cut, same thing. So,
I think he was on the team that won the title.
Yeah. Hasn't Tim Duncan made the weirdest transition from being a clean cut NBA player to being a cornrow wearing basketball coach? That actually seems weird to me. Seeing him in cornrows, it's just weird. Dude, weren't you high and tight your whole life, and now you're cornrows? It is like when it's like the first thing when people do to get out of the army, they grow a beard. So so it's like Tim Doug's like, I'm out of here, cornrows, baby. But yeah,
that's awesome.
All right, guys, we're up against the next break. On the other side of the break, top 10 NFL quarterback lists going into the 2022 season. That means you can't have rookies. So you can never put a rookie on the top 10 list. Every person that does that, Chris Sims, get the hell out of here. We'll be right back, guys, here on the Man Hour. We'll be back.
Hey, gang, it's Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. That means we give the people what they want. Expert fantasy advice, leading medical and legal analysis, free contests, and innovative games to keep you entertained. Watch us live with the Tiki Live app on the Belly Up Sports channel, subscribe to us on YouTube, or follow us on all social media platforms. Visit TSSFantasy.com today for all the latest updates from the fantasy show of the people. We put the fun in fantasy.
Yeah! I use mayo over sour cream, yeah.
Right. That's because you have high cholesterol. Okay.
If you drafted Julio Jones,
you got ghosted.
This is amazing. TSS Fantasy is like an orgasm. If I had a cigarette, I'd smoke it. I'm pumped to be here. This is the show of shows.
TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague, we all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name, all our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be, living in a time where disease is on every screen, I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering, negativity is a plague for the mentally weak, no mercy, all I got is working, never stop searching, never quench the thirsty, I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it, it's been chronic, since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic, go! To last with the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past with all I'm achieving, got my foot on gas, never stop competing.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheist along with my man, Brandon Beastie Combs tonight. If you guys have missed any part of the show whatsoever, you heard of manhourradio.com. And you can check out the blog section over there, and then we will write blogs for the clips over there. Bada bing, bada boom, check it out. Share it with some friends. Share it with your mom. Share it with your dad. Because my mom likes to comment on everything that I do because she likes to support her baby. Because I'm sexy and I know it. What are you laughing at?
Tori just sent me a thing that said, rolled over to cuddle. Forgot that I'm single, rolled off the bed.
Oh, yeah. That guy I missed. So, guys, speaking of Torrey Anderson, he will be on the show starting March here. We will bring him on maybe once or twice a week to talk some NFL draft stuff. And then post-draft, we're going to go through each NFL team, talk about their post-draft needs. And then, football season is going to start rolling again. We'll pick, top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, etc. But today is quarterbacks, Holmes. I forgot about that. We're doing top 10 quarterbacks right now. So this is Brandon B.C. Combs' top 10 quarterbacks of the 2020 going into the 2022 NFL season. Who do you got coming in at number 10?
At number 10. You ready for this? I got my guy. Out of San Diego, who was a big fan of getting drafted, Justin Herbert at number 10.
Justin Herbert, the Justin Herbert coming in at number 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hasn't made a playoff yet.
Right.
But
I kind of pegged him as a top 5 guy.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, so this is me coming from a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I think he is the best quarterback in the AFC West, Combs. I think he's better than Patrick Mahomes. I think he's better than Derek Carr. I think he's better than Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers is coming to Denver Broncos in a few weeks. I think he's better than all of those guys. I love Justin Herbert. I love me some Justin Herbert. And I don't know why, but I do. There's that it factor, and I think he has it. because when you saw him get thrown in the fire, 20 minutes before, like the first game ever as he was a rookie, right, with the punctured lung from Tyrod Taylor. He stared fear in the eye and like, yeah, I'm the man. I mean, he's good.
Look, I do like him. I can't really put him top 5 just yet. I've got too many other guys that are a little bit more proven, have done a little bit more in this league ahead of him. But he's climbing up the list. By the end of next season, he might be in the top 5 for me. But as of right now, I got him at number 10.
Yeah,
same place, coincidentally, where I had Joe Burrow last year.
Yeah, so the only way that I definitely understand why you have him at 10 because of the past experiences, not going to the playoffs, not having a playoff win. Hell, I don't think they haven't made the playoffs, have they? No, they haven't. But
no, they haven't.
But going forward, I think he will be a top 5 quarterback by the end of the 2022 season. So yeah, I definitely
we have a new listener. We just always like to thank the new listeners in the chat. We have Adventures with Gunner, who is on here. I believe he is a part of Belly Up Sports. He says, "Hi, what's up? What's going on, Gunner? Thank you for joining us here."
Adventures with Gunner is my nephew, man. So he is live streaming some Fortnite, guys. So if you guys want to go check out some live Fortnite streaming, he's an excellent Fortnite player, Combs. He will put you to misery, my man.
Hey, Gunner, we're gonna have to friend request each other so that way we can play some duos. I need to get some more crown wins under my belt. Right now, I am currently at a level 212 on Fortnite.
Oh, I'm at level 8. Just dust off my shoulders, and that was only because Gunner came and did a puzzle at my house like on New Year's Eve, and he played for like 4 hours. So, but yeah,
that's awesome. What's going on, Gunner?
Number 9, Combsy.
All right, at number 9, I got my guy, my man, who I picked to go to the Super Bowl this year, and then he disappointed me. Kyler Murray. I had Kyler Murray in at number 9. Look, I really like what Kyler Murray is doing. I like Kyler as a quarterback. There are definitely some immaturity issues, and I didn't like the playoff performance. That's why he actually fell for me last year. I had him at number 7, and now I have him at number 9. And if he doesn't grow up a little bit, he might be out of the top 10 by the end of next year. But right now, because of his talent level and what he's capable of, especially with that team, I have him at number 9.
I would agree with you, but if he changes teams, Combs, he is no longer a top 10 quarterback. If he goes to somewhere like Houston or Miami or any other team besides the Cowboys, he is no longer a top 10 quarterback because what makes him so great is his weapons around him. He is able to extend the plays.
I disagree. I think his talent level puts him in kind of the Deshaun Watson category, right? Where he could go to Houston, still put up numbers. He might not win a whole lot of games, but he's still going to be able to put up the numbers because he's talented enough to do so. So I would have him at number 9. I mean, if that's the case, if winning games and showing up when it mattered put you in the top 10 list, I'd have probably about 4 of these quarterbacks not even able to be in the top 10.
Yeah, and not to gloat or anything, but Gunner says I'm at level 240 or something. He doesn't even worry about that course.
I'm not that, but see, you know what though? Gunner gets to play, like he gets out of school at like 2:00, gets to come home, gets to play, gets to go. I gotta work until like 6 or 7. Then I got 2 hours of the man hour. I get to play for maybe an hour a night, and so it's to still be at a level 212 is still pretty cool.
So Alpha Rob brings up a great point. He says, how is that guy asking for more money with that hook shot attempt in the end zone? Where is Drew to defend your man? How about all you Cardinals fans out there? I told you Kyler Murray's been sucky all season long. The Arizona Cardinals sucked all season long. What'd they do? They throw a hook shot to end the game. Good job, guys. Number 8, Combs.
It was a terrible attempt at a pass.
There were 3 terrible. Hang on, there were 3 terrible interceptions this year. Carson Wentz in the end zone, Matthew Stafford in the end zone, but Kyler Murray's was by far the worst.
Yeah, it was bad. Number 8. Are you ready for this? This might be the one where people come at me with.
If you say Lamar Jackson, I'm quitting.
Lamar Jackson is in my top 10, but he's not at number 8.
Oh my God.
At number 8, I have Kirk Cousins.
Okay. Why?
I have
Why?
Kirk Cousins
Why
at
though?
number 8? Because this guy continues to put up numbers, and when you watch what Kirk Cousins has been through over the last 3 years in Minnesota, actually 4 years in Minnesota now, the numbers that he have put up have been phenomenal. The problem is the coaching and the play calling, a lot like what the Bears have been dealing with, right? So they've been dealing with a guy whose game planning is terrible, whose play calling is terrible, and they just haven't been able to take that next step. I believe that they can take that next step now that they've had that coaching change. They're bringing in the guy from the Rams, Kevin O'Connell, to be the head coach. We saw what that Rams offense was like this year. I think what Kirk Cousins could do, and he might not even be the quarterback of Minnesota. He might be out in Minnesota, and he might be somewhere else like San Francisco or somewhere else. But what he has been able to do with a team that has not really performed well is 33 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, a 103 passer rating. 35 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, a 105 passer rating. A 26 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, a 107.4 passer rating. He does not throw a ton of interceptions. He completes a high percentage of his passes, doesn't make a ton of mistakes. He, to me, is a guy that is very underrated in this league. Doesn't get the credit a lot. Like, we've got guys out there who I did not put in my top 10, like a Derek Carr. Very underrated. A guy like Matt Stafford, who through, probably the first 5 or 6 years of his career wasn't in my top 10 either. But it was also a product of him being underrated, playing on teams that weren't as good and doing that. So to me, Kirk Cousins is at number 8.
Yeah. So when you first said that, I was obviously taken back a little bit. I pulled up Kirk Cousins' stats since 2015. Combs, he has. You want a staple of consistent quarterback? Kirk Cousins is it. With the Commanders in 2015, that sounds so weird. They were the Redskins though, but he had 4,100 yards, 29 touchdowns, 69% passer rating. 2016, almost 5,000 yards, 67% passer rating, 25 touchdowns. Next season, 4,000 yards, 64%. First year with the Vikings, 4,300 yards, 70%, 3,500 yards, 77%. 4,200 yards, 77%, 4,200 yards.
Yeah,
he's
definitely
consistency. Yeah. The only thing that is trending down with him is his completion percentage, and that could just because of the play calling, because they become a lot more pass happy offense, right? But 33 touchdowns, 35 touchdowns, those are pretty good numbers, guys. So yeah, I mean, I'm not batting eye at that. I do like him in the top 10 Combs. That's a great pick that many people should be jumping on board with. If the Vikings cut him, they are losing a very, very steady quarterback.
Yeah. Agreed. At number 7, I've got another quarterback who is a lot Kirk Cousins like. And that is your guy over there in Dallas. That is Dak Prescott. Look, he's coming off of a career best, 4,000. Well, not career best in yards passed, but career best in passer rating, career best in touchdowns thrown, career best in completion percentage. This guy, Dak, coming off of that leg injury, has shown me that he is who he was before the leg injury. Right, because before the leg injury, and I used to argue it all the time, right? For 5 weeks after that leg injury, he was still the leading passer in the league. I mean, it was ridiculous. And this guy is going to continue to climb this list as some of these other quarterbacks fade. He is going to continue to climb. And I believe no matter where Dak Prescott is, whether he's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys or whether he's the quarterback of any other team, the Minnesota Vikings, he will be a top 10 quarterback probably until he retires.
Yeah, the problem is the Dallas Cowboys cannot win with Dak Prescott being a top 10 quarterback. Dak Prescott needs to take a step back and let Zeke run the ball. We did our LVPs, 2 weeks ago, and I had Zeke Elliott as the least valuable player. They need to feed him the ball more and get him active and get him running downhill. But that's besides the point here. Dak, you had Dak at number 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's probably right where I would actually probably flip him, Kirk Cousins, and then put Dak. So Dak below them and put Kirk Cousins above him, because I think Kirk Cousins is a better big time performer than Dak is, because let's just be honest, both of them in big time moments kind of shrink a little bit, and I think Kurt is a little bit better than Dak. But I mean, definitely a good pick there, Combs.
Yeah, I like Dak a lot. I kind of agree with your assessment that I'm not so sure the Dallas Cowboys can win with him being a top 10 quarterback, but the Minnesota Vikings can.
So speaking of that, Alpha Rob asks the question: do you think Dallas will win with Cousins or Dak?
I think it would be a great trade for both teams and for both quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think you get them both into situations where they can win. I think if Kirk Cousins stays in Minnesota, he's in a great situation too. I really like Kevin O'Connell. I was upset that the Bears didn't give him a chance and wait for him to get done with the Super Bowl and at least give him an interview before the Eberflus hire. But I think that would be a great trade for both teams and for both quarterbacks.
I think Kirk Cousins would excel better in Dallas with that pass-happy offense, because Kirk Cousins is a quarterback that needs multiple reps to be successful, right? And that's what Mike McCarthy is going to give you, is many pass attempts. Now, it depends if Sean Payton comes to Dallas somehow, some way, then Dak will be better in Dallas than Kirk Cousins, because he'll be a run-happy offense myself. But who knows? Only time will tell. But yeah, Dak Prescott at number 7. Who got coming at 6?
At number 6, I have Josh Allen.
Okay.
No one has really made more improvement in the last couple of years than Josh Allen. Josh Allen is one of those guys that, to me, in the next, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, he may be winning a Super Bowl with the Buffalo Bills. Hell, he might win one next year. I really like Josh Allen as a quarterback. I like his size. I like his durability. I like the fact that he can escape pressure. He does tend to make kind of those bonehead interceptions, which is why he's not number 5 for me. He does tend to get a little loose with the ball. So for that took a little bit away from it for me, but I'm going to have Josh Allen at number 6.
I do like Josh Allen in your top 10. But number 6 is a little too high for me, because in 2020, I think he took leaps and bounds. He went from a 3,000-yard passer to a 4,500-yard passer. Leaps and bounds, right? This year, they added more weapons to that team, and his completion percentage went down, his yardage went down, his touchdowns went down, and his interceptions went up. So what does that tell me? He took a few steps back this season with the additional weapons on like on that side. He is a top 10 quarterback, just outside the top 5. Absolutely not. He is number 9 at best. So, sorry, Combs. You're wrong on that one.
Well, hey, you could have came with your own list, but you didn't do your homework. So what do you want me to do?
I'll bring it to you tomorrow. Number 5.
At number 5, I got a guy who did not play in 2021. I've got Deshaun Watson. I think that Deshaun Watson, even though he didn't play, had he played, he might be number 1 on my list right now, because the trend for Deshaun Watson has grown every single season. He has gotten better every single season, and he has done it with very minimal talent around him because they traded all of his talent away. Deshaun Watson, to me, wherever he ends up, he will not play another game in Houston. Wherever he ends up, though, prior to the draft, because that's when he'll get traded, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers would be a great landing spot for him.
Yeah.
Great landing spot for him. Deshaun Watson is going to he is going to put up numbers that you haven't seen before. He could be number 1 next year. I've got Deshaun Watson at number 5. See,
and this is where I hate to do this, because Deshaun Watson is an incredible talent. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to take it from you whatsoever. He is a very incredible talent. But we don't know what he would have done this year. And it also depends how good he will be next year on what team he is on. If he's on Houston, he's probably not a top 10 quarterback. The stats will not reflect with his ability on the field. If he's with Pittsburgh, he definitely is a top 5 quarterback, no questions asked. But let's say he goes to Miami, maybe not even a top 10 quarterback there. So you definitely have to.
He gets Miami. He puts Miami in the talks for the Super Bowl.
He does, but I don't think his stats will reflect the top 10 quarterback status there.
I bet you they do.
Who is our coach again now? Who they hire?
They just hired the guy who is
the guy from the 49ers,
but thinks that he's black.
No, he identifies as biracial. What's his name?
Oh, right, yeah.
The dude from the 49ers.
I identify as Asian now. So
he was their offensive coordinator, and what they do, they gave Deebo Samuel the ball on little handoffs, flea flickers, and all this stuff. They don't have that guy there in Miami, and Deshaun Watson is not going to love that type of offense. He wants to showcase his skills.
I think Deshaun Watson will thrive wherever he goes. I think no matter where you are, if you're a head coach and you're not altering your game plan to your quarterback, then that's where you're going to do yourself wrong. I think that's where Matt Nagy failed. I think that's where what's his face that just got fired in Minnesota? That's where he failed.
Zimmer.
There's a lot of people that fail because they don't adjust to their quarterback, and Deshaun Watson is good enough to where he'll thrive wherever he goes.
Okay, who do you got next? We're getting close on time. My bad.
At number 4, I got Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, to me, this season was probably the most accurate passer that I've seen play in this game in a long time, and that includes Tom Brady. He can put the ball on a dime, and he throws a rope. This kid, I love every aspect of his game. I think he is going to be great for a long time. I think the Bengals are going to be good for a long time. And Joe Burrow, for me, is a top 5 quarterback in this league. I have him at number 4.
Yeah, 2022 will be the make or break season for Joe Burrow. Can he continue his success from last season, or will he fall back? So I do like him there.
Yeah.
Number 3.
At number 3, I got your guy, Mr. I don't want my girlfriend or my brother at any more of my games, and I'm not even going to invite my brother to my bachelor party. Patrick Mahomes. Look, Patrick Mahomes, to me, took a little step back this year.
He did.
Took a little step back. I didn't like some of the things that I was seeing from him. I question whether or not he's going to be the same player once some of these weapons leave. I know you question that about Kyler Murray. I'm questioning that about Patrick Mahomes because there was something about him this year. Look, I like Patrick Mahomes. I want to see the kid succeed. I wanted to see him be as good as he has been over the last 2 years. I hope he continues that trend because I think the NFL is a better product when he's good. But I've got some concerns with what I saw this season from Patrick Mahomes. So I actually had him at number 1 last year. Or I'm sorry, number 2 last year. He dropped down to number 3 for me.
So he had more passing yards this season, 1 less interception, little less passer rate ranking. So he basically had the same 2020 season. He just started out slow. He didn't prepare for the season like he should have. But number 3 is a very, very good spot for him. I probably would have put him down at 4, put Joe Burrow above him. But I think Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes right now. Number 2.
At number 2, I got my guy, Mr. Super Bowl champion himself, Matthew Stafford. Look, he finally gets out of that cesspool in Detroit. He goes to Los Angeles. He wins a title. The guy is so damn good, so damn underrated. He's been underrated his entire career, and I'm going to give him his just dues. Right now, he is the second best quarterback in the NFL.
Second best. Yeah, so if I heard you correct, you said you had Lamar Jackson in top 10? Did
I
you
might
say
have been
that?
trolling you a little bit.
Okay, I'll say you better not have Lamar Jackson at number 1. You'd be full of crap right now. Who do you have at number 1?
At number one, I mean, it's a no-brainer, and it's only because Tom Brady has retired. It's Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is a top 3 quarterback all time. I think Aaron Rodgers is a whiny-ass baby. I think he's a diva. I think that he is a clown. But as an NFL quarterback, he is the best quarterback in the NFL now that Tom Brady has taken a walk.
Do you think he is still the best quarterback in the NFL if he goes to Denver and doesn't stay in Green Bay?
Yes.
Think so?
Yes.
So any team he goes to,
I
he
think
thinks
he's still the best quarterback in the NFL, no matter where he goes, because for one, he's going to put himself in a position to succeed if he does. Look, if I'm the Green Bay Packers, I tell him to go screw off, and I send him to Houston. Say, let's see how good you are now, or send him to the Jets. I send him to purgatory, and I say, hey, let's see how good you really, really are, because that's what I would do. But I think that they'll do what they did with Brett Favre. I think they'll say, hey, why don't you work a trade? We'll get something in return. And I think he ends up going somewhere like, again, Pittsburgh's another landing spot where he could go. They would be better off for him. I think Deshaun Watson ends up in Pittsburgh, but Aaron Rodgers would be good in Denver. Aaron Rodgers would be good in San Francisco. A couple other places that I've heard of him going. But I think, he's that damn good. He's, as Stephen A. used to always like to call him, he's a bad man until the NFC title game.
Yeah, Alpha Rob says, I might be biased, but I have Josh Allen as the best quarterback in the league. No quarterback can do what he does, passing and running the rock.
Joe Burrow? I mean, he did a pretty damn good job escaping pressure all year.
And he took a lot of sacks, so he can definitely, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But as far as passing, Josh Allen does have a very, very powerful arm. He's not as accurate but he's not as accurate as Joe Burrow is, or Patrick Mahomes, or even Matthew Stafford. So, I mean, he does have a very powerful arm. Now running the rock, he probably is the best in the league because people just can't tackle that big ass man. He's like 6'7", 280 pounds. Nobody can tackle him.
He is. Remember Ben Roethlisberger in his prime when Ben Roethlisberger was young and he was running around? It's the same thing. Yeah, and it's the same thing with Josh Allen. He's a tight end with an arm. And so sometimes he's hard to tackle.
Yeah.
But I do look. I like Josh Allen. I don't like him. I don't like Josh Allen as the best quarterback in the league, though. I'm sorry. I disagree. I get your bias.
Yeah.
But look, I didn't put Justin Fields in the top 10
because he's
not. I really want to. I love Justin Fields, but he's not a top 10 football player. Just like Josh Allen isn't the best quarterback in the league, but still, I have him at 6.
I do see my man Drew in the chat. Drew, Kyler Murray is not a top 10 quarterback either. So just want to point that out there.
Yes,
per Beastie Combs.
He's number 9.
Lamar
Jackson is not a number 10. How do you feel about that?
That's good. He's 16, 15 at best.
He played 7 games this season and only had 1,200 yards passing. That's less than 200 yards a game.
That sucks. Any close.coms before we head out?
Lamar Jackson runs the ball better than Josh Allen. Man, our nation.